Well, here we are, Monday reaction. It's week 3, and I have yet to react about a win. That's a problem. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you are new to the channel and love talking Philly sports, I'm talking the good, the bad, and so far the ugly. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on post notifications so you know when I go live or drop some content. On that note, if you came away from Sunday's game disgusted, embarrassed, ashamed, smash that like button. With all that being said, let's talk about today, Monday reaction. Well, here we are, Monday reaction, and like I said, we have yet to discuss a win for the Philadelphia Eagles. Coming off 2 back-to-back losses, you come out in a must-win game and tie the Cincinnati Bengals 23-23. I mean, we pretty much gave up that game. Doug Pederson had no faith in the defense, had no faith in Carson Wentz, and pretty much, even though it would have been a long field goal, had no faith in Jake Elliott, who made a 61-yard field goal last year in week 3 to walk off and also banged a 54-yard field goal. And I know some people are saying, well, the wind was blowing the other way. You just do it. You don't forfeit. You don't punt the ball. You can't walk into the locker room and look these guys in the face and say, hey, I trust in you, defense. I trust in you, Carson. I trust in you, Jake. After that. And again, if you're going to make that decision, stick with it. You can't come on a radio show the next morning and say, well, I should have went for it or kicked it or whatever you said. You made it sound like you were going to put the offense back on the field and go for the 4th and 12, which honestly, we could have got a defensive pass interference, or maybe Zach Ertz wins one-on-one and Carson finally throws a good ball, because I'm not done with Carson Wentz. As you guys seen, the guys who were in the play-by-play, I mean, my goodness, I couldn't defend him all through that game. The one bright spot I will say was that he didn't give up and he used his mobility. That's the only thing I can hold my hat off to, is that he didn't give up and used his mobility. But when he threw the ball, every single pass made me cringe a little bit in that game, and it really wasn't a trustworthy performance. But like I said in the play-by-play, like I said in the post-game, if we get a W, it's easy to forget some of these little things and move on because we got the W. But when you get the loss, or in this case, tie, you remember every single detail. And Carson Wentz made a couple easy screens to Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, D-Jax when he was out there. We're going to talk about him too. Look so hard. Too many off-target throws, and don't get me started on the Miles Sanders beautiful double move that he just missed. And the fact that you try to throw a back shoulder fade to the outside, to the right shoulder, to the sidelines, but you throw it on the opposite shoulder, not even there, pretty much right in the chest of a Cincinnati Bengal defender. Like, you can't do that. The 4th string cornerback is playing your guy who you got chemistry with, who you know. You got to make that back shoulder throw. Throw it bad to that side, to the out of bounds side, where it's either Zach Ertz's ball or nobody's ball. I mean, you're missing reads, you're leaving plays out there. There's a lot of things Carson Wentz is doing. But again, we might give a break if we come out with a W, but no. Carson Wentz, horrible performance again. I will give him credit for not giving up, but that's the only thing I can. There's so much more bad than there is good. Yes, he drove us down at halftime and in the 4th quarter and drove a little bit. If you didn't get the Nate Herbig holding call, maybe something changes. Jake Elliott gets an easy field goal. The offense moves the ball down to the 35, something along them lines, and it's only a 40-yard field goal. But that's ifs. There was a holding call, and we could not get past it. As to go back to Doug Pederson, what were you thinking them last 4 plays? I mean, first down, you still got a minute and something on the clock. I know there's no timeouts, but take your shots. 2 Defensive pass interference calls against John Hightower. 2, maybe they get aggressive and do it again. You don't even attempt it. You got complacent at the 59-yard field goal, which ain't a gimme as well. You were just trying to draw up plays to get 1 or 2 yards. A Miles Sanders ugly in the middle run. A Carson Wentz designed run up the middle for 1 or 2. You threw a slant that was only going to get like 3 yards. You were trying just to get the ball a couple yards to kick a 50-plus yard field goal. You should have tried to get 10, 15, 8, 20. I don't know, but you should have tried to get something to put this team in a better position than to just say, we'll take the 59-yarder. And yes, you cannot explain Matt Pryor jumping off sides on a field goal. Like, don't even block, bro. Just stay there and use your body. You don't need to really do much on a field goal attempt, but you get that. Shout out to you for crying, showing some love, but I don't care at this point. Your feelings are hurt, well, so are mine. Look, Doug Pederson, a 59 is not a gimme. A 63 is even more not a gimme. But you either put your offense on the field or you go for that. It's as simple and plain. Like I said, the combination of Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson have been horrible. Doug Pederson does not help Carson, and Carson does not help Doug Pederson whatsoever. I will say this, Doug Pederson's play calling throughout the game wasn't bad. I'm talking in the scheme of the routes he was sending these receivers out there. But remember, we're sending John Hightower, Deontay Burnett, Greg Ward Jr. We don't got Alshon, D-Jax, Jalen Reagor, even Quez Watkins, and it is what it is. Injuries are no excuse to tie with the Cincinnati Bengals. We led in every single category except the main category, which has been a repeat offense of the Philadelphia Eagles and, more importantly, Carson Wentz. Turnovers. I can't say it enough. The team that has the most turnovers in the game normally loses. And every game thus far this season, we had the most turnovers. Joe Burrow wasn't spectacular. He held his ground. The Cincinnati Bengals offense wasn't spectacular. They held their own, but they didn't turn the ball over. And it's as simple as that. Carson Wentz has 6 interceptions on the season in week 3. Last year, he had 7 on the whole season. So yes, the guys who want to come out here and say Carson Wentz hasn't been good since 2017, he hasn't been MVP since 2017, I'll give you that. However, in 2018 and 19, the record wasn't good, but Carson Wentz's stats were pretty good. He still made moves, he still made big throws, but we're not even seeing that in 2020. He is totally uncharacteristic. And yes, he hasn't been on the 2017 level, but in 18 and 19, 20 plus touchdowns and 7 interceptions is still a pretty good quarterback, a decent quarterback. And when you put that in the context of no weapons, that's what made him look like a great quarterback. But now, no weapons or not, are we going to get the 25 touchdowns and 7 interceptions and 4,000 passing yards? No, we're getting 6 interceptions in 3 games, a couple fumbles, missing wide open people, and I can't explain it. I have been and still will support Carson Wentz until he's not the Eagles quarterback. However, what else can I say except for something is wrong? You don't just go from at least a 25 touchdown, 7 interceptions, or I think he had 26 touchdowns to be honest, 27 maybe, 26 or 27 touchdowns. I don't remember at this point because I'm kind of frustrated, but let's say 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, over 4,000 yards. You don't go from that with no players around him to having no players around him again, and he is the biggest blunder out of the whole team. It just don't work that way. But yes, Doug Pederson, Howie Roseman, Jim Schwartz, players on the defense, and injuries are also to blame for this start. That's why it's not all Carson Wentz, but he is playing a huge role in why we lose these games. Not the Rams game because we just got blown out and beat in every facet of the game. But the Washington game, we pretty much lost that because of turnovers. And this game, we pretty much lost that because of turnovers. Yes, Doug got crazy at the end and we had a chance to win it, but you got to take care of the ball. That's the most important thing in the National Football League, and we haven't been doing it. So today's reaction is just What are we going to do? Because this team is broken. Carson Wentz is broken and Doug Pederson is broken. And it can be fixed, but I don't think it's going to be fixed in enough time. I don't know. I'm going to hang on at the fact that this division is so bad. Do I want to win it? Still, yes, I do. At the end of the day, I always want to be better than the Dallas Cowboys, the Washington football team, and the New York Giants. I don't want to tank. I've never been about that. I won't be about that. And we got to win as many football games as we can. It's as simple as that. I don't know how many it's going to be at this point, but we got to win football games. With all that being said, this is all I got for the Monday reaction. The defense played bad in certain spurts. The 2 drives that Joe Burrows went off to Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins. But they still got 8 sacks. They did what they had to do in clutch time. And the whole first half, they really held them. So shout out to the defense who played a decent game. Not Jim Schwartz Sticks defense, but the rest of the defense. But Doug Pederson, who called a pretty good game. My biggest thing with Doug, which puts him in the doghouse, is not running the ball and that whole last sequence. That's it. Because when he called pass plays, I think he put players in good position. Carson Wentz missed a lot. He missed a lot. But when I look at Doug throughout the first 3 weeks, he got protective and predictable in the Washington football series. He did okay in the Rams. And like I say, if I just judge the pass plays, Doug Pederson did good. But he got to mix in more runs. He said Miles Sanders was tired again. I believe that's an excuse. It just can't happen like that. You got a quarterback struggling. You got the worst run defense in the NFL. On the opposite side of the field, you run the ball. I don't care. Run the ball. Run the ball. 54 dropbacks for Carson Wentz is inexcusable against the Cincinnati Bengals. 7 pass attempts back to back one time in the game is unacceptable. With all that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments on Reaction Monday. 2-1 and only 1 game out of first place in the NFC East. I will say this though, if you look at PFF, the Dallas Cowboys from here on out have the easiest schedule in the National Football League, and from here on out, the Eagles actually have the hardest schedule in the National Football League according to Pro Football Focus, and that was because the first 3 games were kinda some of our easiest games. And we let them slip right through our fingers. So, will this team turn it around? Will this team just gain some respect from the rest of the league? I don't know. But give me your thoughts. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.